Good morning, and welcome to this edition of the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. It is Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. And this morning, a conversation with journalists. We discuss the headlines to start your day, headlines that are of interest to Black America with Let It Be Known contributor and Washington Informer journalist James Wright, Andria Carter of the Cincinnati Herald, and the Omaha Star publisher in Nebraska, Terri Sanders. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. I know there's a lot on everybody's plate this morning, and yes, we are going to talk about the Super Bowl and the Cincinnati Bengals. There's no question about it. But first, the news of the morning to get you started. The United Nations World Food Program is appealing to the world for at least $327 million to care for the urgent needs of 4.5 million people over the next 6 months and help communities become better equipped to deal with extreme climate shocks. An estimated 13 million are facing severe hunger, mostly because of droughts that have afflicted the Horn of Africa, and those in Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia are experiencing droughts not seen in more than 40 years. UN officials contend that malnutrition rates also have soared in the region. People in South Sudan, Yemen, and the northern parts of Ethiopia and Nigeria are especially at risk, according to the Hunger Hotspots report published jointly by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the United Nations World Food Program. The report calls for action to prevent starvation, death, and the total collapse of livelihoods as more and more people slide towards catastrophic hunger. This is a really, really sad situation that's going on there. And, you know, the UN has been on the case, but everybody needs to get in on this, James and Andria and Terri. This is ridiculous what's happening in Africa.
Well, don't let everybody start at the same time. I totally agree. Stacey, billionaire Elon Musk made a pledge, I think, in terms of trying to help poverty. I think he need and hunger, and I think he needs to come through with that. And we need to see the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation step up because they have a hunger program. They need to do more.
Well, I think the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they have been stepping up, and part of their situation too with the split with that couple, we now learned that Melinda Gates is pretty much departing from the foundation or foundation activity. So it does bear watching, James. Also in the news this morning, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing issued a notice of cause finding, James, and mandatory dispute resolution to Tesla. The investigation involved undisclosed allegations of race discrimination and harassment at unspecified Tesla locations. Tesla has faced numerous complaints and lawsuits from former workers at its auto plant in Fremont, California, about racial discrimination and sexual harassment in recent years. Many complaints never make it to court because Tesla's full-time employees sign agreements requiring workplace disputes to be handled in closed-door arbitration. In October, one former worker was awarded $137 million by a federal jury in San Francisco, the largest such verdict of its kind. Tesla is now appealing the size of the award as allegations of racism continue to follow that company. So, James, I think Tesla has some real issues on his hands.
Yes, it does. And it's interesting that you talk about Tesla because Tesla is moving from California to my hometown of Austin, Texas. And, you know, Stacey, this is a bigger part in terms of high tech and Black people. We still don't have enough Black people working in the high tech industry, particularly Silicon Valley. And so therefore you have a culture there which is very white, male oriented and geeky, I guess. And they haven't acclimated themselves to us. And as a result, they don't know how to treat us. And then they go to the worst of behaviors in terms of stereotype, not only with Black people, but as the article alluded to, homosexuals. And this is wrong, and they need to be corrected.
Yeah. And Terri and Andrea, I got a question for you, both of you. What's your favorite Denzel Washington movie?
Oh, wow.
You would do that to me.
Well, before you answer, let's say congratulations to the icon who keeps making history, the iconic actor known for his roles in movies like Training Day and Malcolm X, just picked up his 10th Academy Award nomination, this time for Best Actor in The Tragedy of Macbeth, making him the most nominated Black actor in Oscar history, breaking his own record of 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen that yet, but I mean, he keeps changing his roles that makes him so unique, and he changes his looks. He looks thinner in that one too.
Yeah,
he looks good.
James, stay out of
way.
this one.
Okay.
This is for the ladies, James. We gotta stand back.
I now have to go see this one, but I mean, he's such an iconic actor. It's hard to say which one do you want. Do you like his early work? Do you like his work with Malcolm? Do you like his work with Training Day? I mean,
I tell you what,
he just does it all.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, there is nothing that he can't do.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Devil in a Blue Dress for some reason. I think he and Don Cheadle really worked some greatness on that screen together. But you know, I leave that to you ladies to tell us what Denzel's best work was. And of course, what's the other movie with Sanaa Lathan that he did where he has the phone, he goes, "Can you hear me now?" and he smashes the phone. Oh boy.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either.
Yeah, it's a great movie. He's a cop, and he's playing Sanaa Lathan is his love interest, but she's really a criminal. I love my Sanaa Lathan, so that's probably why it's like up on top. See, I'm going for the male angle now. I'm trying to get y'all in on Denzel here, but y'all slacking on your pimping, as they say.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
But congratulations to Denzel Washington. You know what? We recently lost Sidney Poitier, and I've always contended that Denzel Washington was the modern day Sidney Poitier.
Yes.
Yes. In fact, I remember when Denzel won his first Oscar, Sidney was in the audience and they were celebrating the fact that he won an Oscar, and that's when Denzel won his. So I mean that is, those two are linked together forever on that one moment. So
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Sidney Poitier, we know, is no one who had more style and grace and professionalism than Sidney Poitier. But then you see Denzel comes along, and as you stated, I mean, how many roles has he played in which he became that character, right? I mean, we think about the Hurricane Reuben Carter, that movie that he started. He also won. We know he won 2 Academy Awards for Glory and for Training Day. But you know, he could have won. Really, he could have won every award he was nominated for, because he has no peers at this point, in my view. I mean, I don't know what you guys' view are.
no, because I think he's done such a range of characters. It's unbelievable. I think he's just such a I wouldn't say a method actor, but you believe who he is in all the different roles. I mean, when he performed, when he played Malcolm X, that's when he really showed he was an actor.
Yes.
I mean, he was up and coming, but he was an actor. And then from there, he has hit every single role, whether he played a good guy or bad guy, he has done extremely well. And even as a director, he has proven that he's a well-rounded thespian, so to speak, in the industry, that he can do both, be in front or behind the camera and do extremely good work. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if he wins. So
yeah,
but isn't it true that we have to do twice as much to get the accolades of the majority culture?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there is some fabulous Black actors and actresses, and you know, overall, they really haven't been recognized, right?
No.
And that's, you know, that's Hollywood, and that's what that's, you know, Terri, you're right. We have to do so much more. If they reach one plateau, we have to, in order for us to get any type of recognition, we got to go 10 times higher than that. Right. I love that commercial. I don't even watch the show, but the show called The Game, previews, the lady there, and I can't think of her name, James, but she played Regina on the Steve Harvey show.
Yeah.
But she goes, for Black folks, he says, and it's a football TV show, right? But she says every time we start to score, they move the goalposts, and it's so true. It's so true. So and that's whether it's civil rights, whether it's acting or sports or whatever, we always have to do extremely more. In journalism, it doesn't matter, right?
It
That's
doesn't
why
matter,
we have
but I
the
think
Black press.
But I think that's the other reason why that whenever things change, we pivot so well, and we say like, okay, and then we just gear toward that new way. And they keep trying to change how things go, and we just keep pivoting because we've been pivoting for so long. They don't get it. Yeah. When you pivot, we pivot.
Yes.
Yeah. How about that? And James, did you want to make that comment, or did you want to just keep that in house?
Well, I'm gonna make the comment. Denzel Washington is a success to me because he's such a great, as the lady said, a great actor and a director. But to me, is a success because he achieved it without wearing a dress.
And there's James, right, bringing some controversy to the table. Oh boy. We can go into that all day, can't we, James? Listen, let's talk a little football. The Houston Texans announced on Monday the hiring of defensive coordinator Lovie Smith as the franchise's next head coach. Smith has previously served as a head coach twice in the NFL for 11 seasons with the Chicago Bears and Tampa Bay Bucks. He joined the Texans staff prior to the 2021 season from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where he was the school's head coach from 2016 to 2020. He's Black and is the second person of color to be hired as an NFL head coach this offseason. The Miami Dolphins announced Sunday they hired Mike McDaniel, who is multiracial, they say, as their new head coach. The hire comes, of course, after the explosive Brian Flores lawsuit in which he accused the NFL of making a joke of its Rooney Rule that requires teams to interview individuals of color for head coaching openings. Is the NFL just these teams now just reacting because of Brian Flores? Because it seems like they hadn't paid attention to Black coaches before.
Well, of course not. Again, they give us a nod. They give us okay, well, we interviewed you, but interviewing is not getting the dollar, or what do the kids call it? Getting the bag. And we need to get the bag. And an interview does not get the bag. But I think that he brought it to the forefront. And of course, now being Super Bowl season and people are paying more attention to football. And you know what? DEI raises its head once again. Diversity, equity, and now inclusion. Yeah. And we need to be included.
Well, I think as certain changes go across the country, the more things need to be pushed forward. Right now it's the NFL's turn to be on the hot seat for what they claim they have been trying to do. They have so many players of color playing in football, but when it comes to coaching and the management staff, they're lacking. And, eventually you're going to have to step up. I mean, there are some teams who have added people of color in there as minority stakeholders because we don't have the money per se to own some football teams. But then again, there are 614 billionaires in the world who are of color. Not all of them are American. Not all of them are into football. But there's starting to be enough that if they want to get into the game, and if there's a franchise they want to be part of, see what stake they can have to start getting into the ownership box. That pushes that happened yet. But I mean, you're seeing it on a minor level or these smaller off teams, whether it's football or basketball, you're starting to see minority ownership. And very slowly, when you start seeing it at a small level, eventually you'll see it at the big level. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah, and that's where it has to really, the change has to come right in the owner's box. because otherwise it's just the same good old boys club, right?
Well, yeah. Think about what. We're talking about the football. We're not even talking about baseball and basketball. So, if you think about it, the top three, they get their stadiums, they get this and that, and then now soccer. They're starting to, that's another fourth franchised sports segment that even though you're seeing people of color on the ground, you're not seeing people of color in the management box or not even in coaching for soccer. Right. So, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, and let's stay with the theme, Andrea, football, because the Super Bowl is coming up, and look at the shirt she's wearing, the sweater she's wearing.
I'm sorry, but this is just one of several that I have coming, so I'm so proud. It has been so hard being a Bengals fan. I am sorry. 31 years. Do you hear me? 31 years. We have gone to the playoffs. We sort of skated. We've hinted at, and we always keep coming back for more. Finally, we even the fans were taken by surprise of how well the Bengals have done. If you think about it, we had one season where I think we were 4-7, and another one it was 7-11 or something. I forgot what it was. Where we've just had disastrous seasons, and now all of a sudden we went from disaster to we're at the Super Bowl. We only imagine that. Oh my God,
Andrea, too. The other thing too is I think the last time the Bengals were in the Super Bowl, they played a California team, right? Didn't they play the San Francisco 49ers the last time they were in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
And of course they lost, but we have the Los Angeles Rams.
Yes. So it's interesting. A lot of sports. I remember I was driving back from Florida to Cincinnati from the holidays, and I remember having on a sports channel, and where the commentators were like, "Do we still call them the Bungles now?" So that stigma. Look, let's put it like this: they're doing so well. My sister, who called them the Bungles, teases me constantly, finally called me up and said, "Okay, they're not the Bungles anymore," and she's even bought T-shirts. So, if she can turn around, everyone else can turn around. Right. We'll see what happens at the Super Bowl. Because, I'm excited about the Super Bowl. I'm excited about the game. But then again, I'm also excited about the halftime show, too. So, I get a win-win either way. So, I'm very, very happy.
Well, and the great thing is this season kind of came out of nowhere, right? The success, because you didn't really expect them to be so competitive right away.
No, we have a new coach. He's been around for a couple of years. Joe Burrow's last year, his season was not very good, and he was injured. He's not only come back, he came back just jumping, just saying, "Okay, we're going to do this," and it's just been a very steady stream, and it's been stealth. It's been steady. We've always had problems with defense and offense. They're clicking. They're like a well-oiled machine. There's something clicked in their mindset and said, "Yeah, we can do this," and they're doing it. And now they arrived in LA yesterday. They're getting ready to start prepping for the Super Bowl and things like that. And I'm going to a Super Bowl party, so I'm gonna be happy.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. So group of friends are gonna get together and celebrate, and everyone is just like very simply. Everywhere you see Bengals stuff. I went in January. I went to Las Vegas for a quick trip with friends. On the plane, people were wearing Bengals gear. When we got there, it was so funny because the Raiders were playing in Cincinnati. I was in Las Vegas. It's so funny. Everywhere, people had Bengals shirts on. It was so funny. And they won. So well.
Listen, so going back to games, so people are going back, aren't they?
Yes.
We see full stadiums are packed.
Stadiums are packed. I think people are getting used to COVID. People are getting used to masks. The model is have masks. We'll travel. Some are about to lift it. I'm not going to lift mine anytime soon. I'm still going to be cautious for a while. But I think people finally are used to this whole new world that we live in with COVID. and they're going to enjoy themselves. They have to. We have to get that release, because it's still frustrating. People are still angry. People are going to do stupid stuff along the way. But
Yeah.
I think right now the NFL is providing a release because people love football. I don't know
It's,
about basketball, but people love football. So right
it
now
sounds
it's
like, Andrea, if the Bengals win on Sunday, we're going to have you back on Monday for this to see how you guys celebrated it. But
oh, I think they're going to declare an unofficial holiday on Monday if the school systems have already said that students are off on Monday if
oh
the Bengals
God,
win the Super Bowl.
so
That's how
it's
much
a
anticipation.
holiday.
Oh, I think Fountain Square
I
downtown,
want
which
my
is our
kids in
center of
school.
universe, are going to be filled with people chanting and celebrating. I mean, it's going to, barring the weather, because we're coming from a snowstorm. Folks are just going to lose their minds. So
Terry, we want our kids in school, right, Terry?
Yes. If I had time, I'd want them in school.
Win, lose, or draw. Come on now,
well, I
James.
mean, if you think about it, here when opening day is an unofficial holiday as well. I mean, we take our sports seriously in Cincinnati. I'm sorry.
Obviously.
I take it serious when I take my kid out of school for a Super Bowl party.
Well, when you have football, baseball, basketball with college sports in this town, this is such a heavy sports town.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry, but sometimes you just gotta have an unofficial holiday. I mean, unfortunately, it's not hunting season in other states where it's an unofficial
Pennsylvania.
holiday.
Oh my gosh, let's not even go there. Pennsylvania, everything shuts down.
Yes, everything for hunting season. So,
oh my gosh.
Look, this involves, physical activity, action, fun. It's fantastic.
See, Sarah, she's making excuses.
You know what? Because we have not one drop of that in Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm just gonna sit here and listen and say, wow. The best we can do is College World Series in the summer. So that's it.
Yeah, James. I want to stay on the topic somewhat of sports with you, James, because I know you have you have a thorn in your side on this issue, and that is the stadiums and taxpayer responsibilities for stadiums. Talk about it, James.
Basically, here in Washington, D.C., since the Washington football team became the Washington Commanders, the mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, has extended an offer to to help build a stadium at RFK Stadium, which is in the eastern side of the city. Now, Maryland is determined to keep the Commanders in Prince George's County at FedEx Field. And in Virginia, they're making a real push in Northern Virginia to build a Commanders Stadium, and has apparently gotten the support of the Virginia legislature to do that. So there's really a three-way competition for the Commanders to have a new stadium after 2027 when the FedEx Field stadium lease is up.
Yeah, and so this it's going to obviously cost taxpayers a lot of money around the country. We see it, sports stadiums, they're going up and they're making these state-of-the-art experiences. But how does that affect ticket prices? James, Terry, do you guys know how that affects ticket prices?
It goes up.
Well, it doesn't drive them down, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. And so I guess the other point of that is, too, despite all the money taxpayers put into it, they get no break on tickets, right? They sell these personal seat licenses, and they sell, of course, the suites and the boxes, and the prices are astronomical for sports now. It is hard to take a family of 4 or more to a game, isn't it?
Yes. It's easier to go to a bar or a sports or a family food restaurant where they have the television on to enjoy the sport event than going to the stadium. Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati has 2 stadiums. We have the football stadium, and then we have the baseball stadium. Oh, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. We have 3. We also now have a soccer stadium. And each one had controversy. I mean, and the soccer stadium was built in the Black neighborhood.
Yeah,
and
well, that's the thing, Andrea, right? Most cities now have specialized stadiums. It used to be that the professional football and professional baseball teams shared stadiums in different cities, and it was in Cincinnati with the Bengals and the Reds for a time with Riverfront Stadium.
Yes.
Pittsburgh had Three River Stadium that the Pirates and Steelers shared. New York, a Yankee Stadium and the Giants. The Yankees and the Giants shared that. Shea Stadium was shared by the Mets and the Jets, and we can go on and on. And now everybody has these specialized stadiums, and taxpayers are really footing the bill. I just want to go back briefly for a second to that movie I was trying to think of. Thank you, Joni King. She says the name of the movie, and she's absolutely right, was Out of Time. That's what I was trying with Denzel and Sanaa Lathan. I know, Terri, you also had a topic you wanted to bring out today. Let's talk about that.
Well, being in the middle of the country, we don't have a lot of controversy, but we have a connection to Amir Locke in Minnesota. His uncle runs the basketball court, which is next to our offices. It is called Bryant Center, and he is the patriarch in that family now. He alerted me last week when this happened. He sent me the video. He said, this is my baby sister's son. And I was like, oh, that's a tragedy. And then it became a bigger story on the weekend. The national news picked it up. And now, of course, and he had called me on Sunday, and his sister had just arrived from Texas. That's where Amir's mother lived. And he said she just got on the plane and came. And he said, I had to go shopping, buy her Minnesota winter clothes. And I said, yeah, that's understandable. She was trying to get there for her child, 22 years old. But he said, I want you to, have exclusiveness. And, once an attorney gets involved, that goes down the drain. But the fact that he was, he had a permit, his uncle is very high. His name is Sundiata. His uncle is very high on education and the trades. And, he had just gotten him enrolled into a program where he could do that. His uncle is represents a Tuskegee Airman here in Nebraska. And, you just never know. You hear things on the news and you think, oh, what a tragedy.
Yeah.
Or when there is that close personal tie. Amir's mother is planning to move to Omaha, and this was in the plans a while ago. So you just never know. But as I look at that, and sometimes the weather is a factor. You don't get the protests like you get in the summertime, where people are out and pursuing justice in the streets. But there are protests, there are signs. There are other family members here. This is a huge family. He shared with me the family tree that was on his mother's program. And I'm like, all those folk are kin to you? Said, yes. But there needs to be justice, and Omaha will be watching closely with this case. And again, didn't the police force get enough with all the other things that have gone on without barging into somebody's house, and in less than 15 seconds, that person is dead?
Yeah.
Didn't have a chance to breathe, turn around, call for anybody, say, wait a minute, what are you doing? Just pop, 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 pop.
Yep.
Gone. And so I think that it is remarkable that the police chief has said, we're going to ban no-knock warrants now. Well, you're a little late for that family. But again, it is imperative that we keep a watch and that we hold officials accountable.
Yeah.
We need to hold them accountable for the actions and activities that they take. We need to be all over the country banning no-knock. I have a son. He is 30-ish years old. I can't never remember. But that could have happened with him. There was an incident once where the police stopped him, And right away, you know, Omaha is small where Black folks are concerned. Someone called my husband and I, they just stopped your son. And this was a few years ago. And we went, and the police told me to back up. I said, I'm his mother. Well, he doesn't need a mother right now. I said, let me tell you something. I will always be his mother, and you can't stop me. Try it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to stand up and not just sit there. Oh, well, you know, the police. No, what? What are you going to say? What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Don't try to take me out. But that young man didn't even have that opportunity to say, why are you here? Just boom, and he is gone.
Well,
now,
Minnesota,
Crazy.
yeah, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellis said in a statement that Amir Locke's life mattered. He was only 22 years old and had his whole life ahead of him. Ellison says his office is working with the county attorney's office to review if criminal charges will be brought in the case against the officers involved. So we will be following that to see what comes of that. They are weighing whether or not to bring criminal charges against the officers involved. But you know, and I know that we're short on time, but when you think about criminal charges against the officers, these no-knock warrants, there's this aiding and abetting, right? When in certain crimes, right, and those who are criminally responsible. How about the prosecutors who, or the judge who signed off on a warrant like that, the higher ups in the department? See, there's a whole lot of layers here, right?
They need to bring everybody. Don't just get the man
right?
who had the gun. Go back and get everybody in the chain. You know, they talk about chain of custody. Get everybody in the chain and line them up, and let's talk about that.
Yeah, because that's where you really are going to affect any change, right? Because you can continue to sign off on these no-knock warrants. You can continue to, if they bring charges against this officer, you can bring charges against him or her and other officers in the same situations. But if they keep signing off on them, you're going to keep getting people killed. Yes. So somewhere, somebody has to be held accountable.
Isn't that why we have 3 branches of government for accountability? This is not kicking in right now.
Yeah, it's not. And Terri, I don't know if you saw the question in the chat about a certain roast that you want to talk about, or should we save that for another day?
Coming up. So in Omaha, we have the Omaha Press Club, as I'm sure they have them around the country. And my daughter, Simone Sanders, yes, she belongs to me. She is being roasted locally. And so NNPA, I understand, is going to be in the house for that event. And we are just, I always say, peacock proud. And now she works for MS. But she resides in your town, Mr. Wright. She's there in Washington, D.C. And I come often, so I'm going to have to come and see you the next time I'm there. Definitely. But that is a real honor. She is number 167, and they call it, they put your face on the ballroom floor. An artist does a caricature, and that is something that we don't get a lot of. Kathy Hughes happens to be on the ballroom floor. And so we're excited. That is the 24th of February. And so she will be in the city. She's getting married this summer, so we're going to do some bridal activities. And we're just looking for a good time. And of course, that means that she'll be once again on the front page of the Omaha Star.
I know that's right.
Wow, yeah, you just dropped some news on us too. Not only about the roast, you said she's getting married.
Yes, she's getting married in August. Sean Townsend is going to be my son-in-law. Love him to death. He was the, they called him the Nightmare, but he was the director of culture there in the city of Washington. And now he is with the Dewey Squared group.
Yes.
So I see Sean often. He will be in town for the roast. I called, I said, are you coming? He said, of course I'm coming. And they're bringing their Washington entourage with them. So Omaha will celebrate. You know, we have those local watering holes, and of course we'll be represented there. But it'll be a good time.
Wow. So you heard it here first on Let It Be Known. Simone Sanders is getting married. Then she's getting roasted too. So
she's getting roasted.
Looking out for that.
She has a busy year.
Wow.
And she asked me to be the MC for the roast. And
Oh,
she
good.
could have chosen.
wow.
That's
Oh,
good.
She could
That's
have chosen
good.
anyone. She said, "Well, mommy, you know all the good stories." And I said,
Mhm.
"I do, and I
I
promise I
think
will
it's kind of
share."
no,
dangerous to be
she
picking
knows.
mom.
She knows all the mommy stories
Yes,
too.
I
So
have those
Yes.
stories
she
that
can
nobody
embarrass.
knows.
Ooh,
There you go.
Oh
There you go.
my.
oh,
So
that's dangerous
Simone got
territory.
some.
Mm.
She's got some adventure in her. So picking mom to do the roast? No
Yes,
way
yes,
I would do
yes,
that.
yes, yes, yes. But the one thing that I appreciate about Simone, she is very inclusive where I'm concerned. Because sometimes you don't even know who somebody's mama is. You think
Yeah.
that they just showed up. So I told her, I said, I'm very honored to be the MC of this. And I've seen several of the roasters around town, and they say, "Oh, we getting our stuff ready." I thought, "Ooh, let me get mine ready. What am I going to share?" Because there's so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, and then we'll be seeing Simone later this year on MSNBC.
Yes, she'll have
You,
a weekend program and then also be streaming on Peacock 3 times a week.
look at that.
Oh,
A
good.
child of the Black press, y'all.
A
Simone
child of the Black
Sanders.
press. That's right.
Right.
She used to
There
write
you
for the
go.
Right.
Omaha Star.
Well, see, exactly. Well, we certainly appreciate this discussion this morning. This was a lot of fun. We got to do it again. Andrea, you're going to come back Monday and let us know. Well, we're going to say it like this. If the Bengals win, maybe we'll invite you back.
Maybe. But whether
I
they
don't
win
know.
or lose, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be interesting.
Who's going to win? What's your prediction?
Oh,
Give me a prediction.
How many points?
I think the Bengals are going to win by 10.
Oh, look
Wow.
at that. She's got a 10-point spread there, James. I'm going 34-31 Cincinnati.
Ooh.
That's a
James?
good one too.
Go
Bengals by
Bengals. I
7.
always like a tiger.
Bengals by 7. Okay.
And this is for the Chinese New Year. It is the year of the
Year of the
tiger. So
tiger.
we got karma on our
boy.
side. So
Yes, you do.
Listen, our great producer Greer says she's going to be in the house for Simone's roast as well. So it's going to be fun to check all this out. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks to this great panel. And thank you for always tuning in to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. We will see you tomorrow.